Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Tamara and today I'm going to share my experience and how I built my relationship with God. So in this video I'm going to share with you guys how my walk in Christ started and what it looks like now. So with that being said, let's get started. So starting when I was a child, when I was little, apparently, I don't remember of course because I was like a toddler at the time, but apparently I used to go to church with my mom, my sister, my uncle, and my great uncle. And I guess ever since we moved on the other side of town, I've been going to church less. But the only time I would go to church was with my aunt on my dad's side of the family. So growing up, I didn't really see my parents in the church like that. And being honest, as a child, I guess too, the environment I was in played a huge role, but it's nothing against that church, but I felt like that church is not meant for kids, if you know what I mean. Because as a kid, you lose interest pretty quick. It takes a lot to keep a child's attention span going. And that church that I went to with my aunt, it just wasn't meant for kids. So in a way, like, I kind of didn't want to go to church when I was a kid because I was just really uninterested as a child. And it wasn't that I had like anything against God or anything, it was just that specific church. What really made me realize that was my neighbors at the time. I think I was like 8 or 9. During the summer, they went to this vacation Bible camp at a different church, and so my neighbors really wanted me to go, so I was like, you know what, sure, I'll go. And during that whole week I learned so much in that 1 week and had so much fun that number one, I wanted to go back, but number two, I have learned so much and had so much fun than I ever did at my aunt's church. But eventually when I was a teenager, I stopped going to church because, like I said, my parents didn't really go to church, and at that time my aunt stopped going to church because at the time she was just really sick and stressed and stuff. And yeah, I didn't really have a way to church because I didn't drive at the time. I didn't know anyone else that went to church, so I just stopped going. But I always knew I wanted to like build my relationship with God up again. I just didn't really know how to or where to start. So what I decided to do during COVID, since like we were all trapped inside the house and didn't have anything to do, I thought it would be the perfect time to actually sit down and read the Bible. So what I tried to do was read at least 3 chapters of the Bible each day, and eventually I was able to read the whole book in like 2 years. But eventually, I want to say like around 2022, I started trying to find different churches like online because I was very skeptical about going back to a church because every church is different. If you don't know, now you know. Every church is different. Every church have different belief systems and yeah. So I knew if I was going to join a church, I wanted to join a church where I felt the most comfortable in. So I just started really watching sermons on YouTube from different churches, and eventually I remember the church that I went to for my vacation Bible study that I went to with my neighbor a few years back, and so I started watching them online. And within that year, because I just love my church so much, guys. But within that year, I decided, it's time for me to step outside of my comfort zone and actually go to church in person. So my New Year's resolution for 2023 was to go to church in person. And the first weekend they were doing online, but the second weekend I went in person to my closest campus. And so now I can say I've been attending the Summit Church for about over a year now. And it's so crazy because I started going to the Summit Church in person January 7th of 2023. And then October of that same year, October 2023 I think it was like October 22nd. I believe, I gotta look back, but that's when I got baptized and I became an official member of the Summit Church. So besides reading and joining the church, there's been a couple things I have done to build my relationship with God. So number one, since I'm literally going back and rereading the Bible, I decided to take notes on like a Google Doc. So I just listed every book of the Bible down, and through every chapter I would write a summary, any questions that I had, any key notes in that chapter. And it's just been so helpful just taking notes and like keeping track of what I read. The second thing that I do, which I need to actually start doing again, but every now and then I would do a power hour, where basically I would take 1 hour out of the day, and it could be like once a week or whatever, once or twice a week. It's just whenever I wasn't like too busy or too tired to do it. But basically I would just take 1 hour out of the day, and I would just do things like pray, maybe watch a sermon, read the Bible and take notes, or write in my journal and worship, different things like that. But I would just do that for an hour straight. Number 3 is my prayer journal. So basically, I don't do this too often. I need to honestly get better at it. I said I would start doing it like maybe twice a month, but just praying to God, worshiping Him, just writing down how I feel, because to be honest, I'm better writing my feelings down rather than like saying it, if that makes sense. Another thing that I started doing is now I have a prayer bucket, and basically my old neighbors gave me that idea. So basically I write like a whole bunch of people's names, whether it's family, friends, people I'm not really close to, people I'm not cool with like that anymore. I basically write their names on a popsicle stick, put them in a bucket, and like each night I would take out about 5 names and pray over them. And you can either do this, or if you want to make like a different prayer bucket where you pray for like specific things such as like health or like financial reasons, write them all on a popsicle stick and put them in a bucket to pray for every night. So I know there are probably a lot of Christians out there who are struggling to find a church or think that they don't need to join a church, and I just want to share with you my experience and thoughts on that. At one point in time, I literally thought the same thing. I thought, I don't need to join a church, I can just do this by myself. I'm fine, I'm cool. And then I realized I need to join a church. And I say that because like when I was doing Bible study with my family at one point, this is like before I was going and watching different church sermons from different churches. When I was doing Bible study with my family, I realized I did not know a lot. Even if I read like the Bible front to back, like there's so many things in the Bible that I would have never gotten on my own, And even with my church, I guess like my friends were saying how like my church is kind of different from theirs. I don't know like their preacher's style of teaching and stuff like that. But I do know like with the Summit Church, my pastor, he goes like deep when it comes to talking about the Bible. So like I learned so much from that. So yeah, I'm definitely glad I decided to join a church. Because being honest too, we are humans, we are biased. So there's times we tend to like change things to our own understanding or to make us feel better. And at least for my pastor, like he's gonna tell you the truth. He's gonna keep it respectful, which is why I love him so much. Well, them, because I have like multiple pastors, but they're gonna tell you the truth yet be respectful at the same time. Because I feel like, no shade to like other churches and stuff like that, but like a lot of pastors or people in general, they don't know how to like tell the truth without like shaming and ridiculing other people, if that makes sense. And also just being around other Christians that like share the same beliefs as you can help you stay motivated and stay on track with your goals. I know in my church they have like different small groups, and then one of those small groups is basically kind of like an accountability group. So I do definitely recommend finding a church, but also finding the right church for you, because you don't want to just join any church. That's not what I'm saying. Don't join any church. Find a church that's right for you so you won't be misguided and you won't be treated poorly. And if you don't know like where to start, you can always watch my church, the Summer Church, online. Or if you have a campus close by to you, definitely check that out. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I'm in London, I like to go and shop at the mall, shop at the Prada.